This was a very spur of the moment video, so bear with me, but 30XX, which is now in early access on Steam, is fucking amazing, dude. If you like Mega Man X at all, you owe yourself to play this game. I remember 20XX coming out a few years ago. I barely gave it a chance because the art style was fucking atrocious, in my opinion. I'm one of those guys that's so shallow to allow an art style that I do not like to prevent me from playing a game. But this game, I don't know, it looks way more like a Mega Man X game. In fact, it looks kind of like Mega Man ZX or something, the character designs. But you've got your two characters, you've got Nina, and I believe his name is Ace. Nina being basically X from Mega Man X, Ace being Zero from the Mega Man X series. You've got so many different abilities you can learn. Of course, when you're playing as Nina, just like X, your sub-attacks, or special attacks, I guess you want to call them, you get them from defeating bosses, just like you would in any Mega Man or Mega Man X game. And then the best part is you can actually link them to create new moves. So if you use a attack that shoots a big fireball and then splits it, you can use that combined with this electrical attack that will actually like make the fireball go up into the air and then it'll rain fireballs. I found the game to be a little bit easier playing as Nina because of the long range attacks, but as I found when I was playing as Ace, I actually unlocked, just while recording footage for this video, I actually unlocked a new ability that makes him throw like kunai, and that gives him the ability to use ranged attacks as well, which helped me a lot in this stage that I was stuck on, and actually allowed me to eventually beat it for the first time. There's two different modes of play here. You've got the same mode that they had in 20XX, where essentially everything is RNG, like each stage is randomly generated, so you'll probably never play the same stage twice. They still have the same themes, so there's the Mavericks or Robot Masters or whatever the fuck you want to call them in this game, and each of them has their own like background and specific elements to their stages and enemies in their stages. So when you're doing your randomly generated stages, they're gonna have the same aesthetic and same enemies and same kind of like stage gimmicks, but they're gonna be it's gonna still be a completely different stage almost every time. Keep in mind this is in early access. They're saying this is the alpha, and it's still one of the best fucking Mega Man X games I've ever played. And then there's the mode I like the most, which is like the newer mode. My favorite mode is it's played more like a Mega Man X game, where you have infinite continues, but you don't have infinite lives, by the way. Instead of, if you fall into lava or a pit or something like that, you just lose some life, and then it kind of spawns you at the latest solid ground. So you don't have lives in the stages, but you do have like a decent amount of hit points, and you can upgrade everything. So as you're going through, you're collecting bolts, you're opening treasure chests. Some of the chests will have upgrades. Most of them will have health and bolts, and then you can use those bolts to buy augs or augments, which are used to enhance, like level up basically. So there's some that level up your max HP, some that level up your energy, some that level up standard attack, some that level up your base attack, that kind of stuff. There's also speed augments. There's so many different fucking upgrades, and I know I haven't even seen them all. A lot of the times, my only gripe, I guess, is, but it kind of makes sense, is a lot of the times if you've not beaten a stage, but if you've gotten to a certain point in a stage that you've been to before, the treasure chests will be empty, so that kind of sucks because you're trying to grind and improve yourself, but at the same time, I could see that as being kind of a cop-out. You wouldn't necessarily get better at the game if you're just playing the same stage and grinding up to that one treasure chest over and over again. But there's still plenty of opportunity to get bolts in this game. Enemies drop them. They also drop health and armor, which I don't know if it was in, like I said, I didn't play 20XX because that art style was fucking terrible in my opinion. It looked like you know those shitty cell phone game ads that are always on Facebook, where you have to like pull the key and lava falls? The characters looked like the characters in that. It was really bad. But anyways, I don't know if it was in 20XX, but there's also armor pickups. And armor pickups, at first I was like, what the hell? What's the point? It's the same as health. But actually, armor is useful because it can be seen as health but if you have full health, it's like adding extra health. So you'll see every once in a while I'll get these like silver hit points on my health bar. Those are armor, so I can have full health, and then usually if you pick up armor, you get 2 armor. Say you have like 10 max HP. If your health is maxed out and you grab like 2 armor pieces, you'll actually have 12 HP. So it's super fucking handy. Sometimes it's even worth jumping down into the lava to get it, because you're usually going to get 2 hit points, and sometimes the lava will only do 1 hit point of damage. As you progress through the game, every time you beat a stage, it considers you as like leveling up. So it makes the game a little bit more difficult after you beat each stage. So you kind of almost want to play... It's kind of a risk and reward system, and that shows up a couple times in this game, which I love. You've got that level up system, like I mentioned. Normally in Mega Man, you'll pick the easiest stage and beat that first, so you can get the special weapon, which will help you in some of in the other stages. And same within this game, you would do that, and you'd get your upgrades for getting the treasure chests and getting through the stages, and that would help you in later stages. But in this game, you also have to keep in mind that once you get to those harder stages that you weren't able to beat before, they're actually going to be harder now, because each time you beat a stage, the next stage gets a little bit harder, the enemies hit a little bit harder, and sometimes I find like they drop less bolts too. I don't know, that might be just me. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but yeah, it's definitely risk and reward. And another risk and reward system is there are these rooms where if you have low health, you can, I can't remember what the rooms are called, but if you go there, you like basically like, I don't know, pray to this statue or something, and what it does is it'll drop 1 health, but then you'll have to fight a couple waves of enemies. So the room will fill up with like 5 or 6 enemies. Once you kill all of the enemies, then the statue will drop another drop of health, and then you have to fight another wave of enemies. And if you're good enough, you can clear these waves of enemies without taking a hit, and you'll end up getting like 4 or 5 health back from the statue. But if you do terribly, it's not worth it, because you'll actually take more damage than you will heal. But also, if you pray to that statue and you beat all the waves of the enemies, you'll actually get an upgrade as well. So there's so much like really fucking cool elements to this game that I haven't seen before. Like I said, I haven't played 2000XX, but goddamn, man, there's so much cool shit in this game. And then of course you've got Ace. I prefer playing as Ace over Nina. I don't know why. I've been playing a lot of Castlevania lately, maybe, so having the slashing as opposed to the shooting, I just have more fun with it right now. But it is more difficult. But like I said, there's so many fucking upgrades in this game that it's like, I got this the Shoryuken essentially from Mega Man X2, and I can use that to help me with my platforming. So not only is it an attack, but if I am falling and there's a ledge above me, I can hit, I'm using a PS4 controller, I can hit triangle and up in the middle of the air, and he'll do his Shoryuken going up into the air, which will add much more height to my jump, which will make me grab onto these ledges that I can't normally reach, or if I fucked up or something, I can make a recovery using that Shoryuken. There's also a whip I got. I don't use it in this footage. In fact, I barely use it, but it pulls you towards enemies, so you can kind of, it's like a quick dash towards the enemy, and then you can deal damage to them that way. I also, at the kind of end of capturing the footage here, I unlocked this ability to dash over to where the enemy would be, slash a couple times, and come back. It really reminds me of 2 things. I think it was Proto Man in Mega Man Battle Network. He had that ability, and then it kind of reminds me of, I can't remember which Castlevania character, but there's a Castlevania character that has that ability where you basically like teleport behind the enemy, slash them, and then teleport back. Super fucking awesome. This game, I cannot say enough good things about it, and it's only in the alpha stage, so I can only imagine how much fucking better this game is going to get. I don't even really have a lot of gripes. I was gonna say gripes, but almost every time you die, it's not cheap. Everything feels like your fault if you fuck up. You can make it through, any and all of the stages without leveling up or powering up, which is great because the game was designed with that in mind. So sexy sons of bitches like Kame, who'd like to run Mega Man games Buster only, he can go ahead and do that because the game doesn't anticipate you having any abilities in order to pass the stages, because you can play each stage in any order. So I guess the one thing that I am leaving out in this Let's Talk video is I haven't been able to play any co-op. Unfortunately, I'm looking forward to playing it with a friend at some point, but this game is fully playable, the whole game, co-op. So one guy will play as Nina and the other will play as Ace, and you guys can play 2-player simultaneous co-op. And that's something I've wanted from a Mega Man game forever. I know there was like a Mega Man, I think it was like 2.5D or something like that, and that had co-op, but that game was very punishing. If one player wasn't as good as the other, both players had to restart the stage. So hopefully this game isn't like that. Hopefully the second player can just spawn where the first player is if the second player is not quite as good, or the second player dies if they die, and the first player can continue playing, and then the second player comes back after the stage. So hopefully that's how that goes. I can't review the co-op at all. Maybe I'll do a video later on about the co-op features in this game, but until now, that I can't really say much about the co-op other than I'm highly looking forward to playing it. Anyways, that's about it. I'm just kind of doing this on the fly here, because I was playing this like all night last night and playing this all morning this morning. I was up till like 3 a.m. playing it, and I was up at like 7 a.m. to play it some more. And I haven't had a game that I did that with in fucking decades. So if you're a fan of Mega Man games, especially Mega Man X games, honestly, so far, the way this plays, the atmosphere, the stage design, the boss fights, this is honestly like probably in my top 3 Mega Man X games, and it's not even a real Mega Man X game. In fact, I would say this is more of a Mega Man X game than like anything after Mega Man X4. If you enjoy Mega Man X games, you owe it to yourself to get this game. Pick it up on Steam. It's in early access. I think it's 10% off because it's in early access, so it was like $20 Canadian, and it was well worth it. Oh my god. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, I try to do a top 10 video at least once a month. And I'm also streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dookie03. So if you use Twitch, be sure to give me a follow there. I'm usually playing JRPGs, but I'll play the odd Mega Man and Castlevania game as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.